Well, g'day, curd nerds. G'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Well, g'day, curd nerds. Oh, music's too loud. Goodness me. There we go. Better. Good morning, curd nerds. Welcome back. This is Ask the Cheeseman, episode 358, in case you didn't know from the title. Lovely to have you all here. Of course, let's say g'day and thank you so much to all of the financial members. We have a few new ones from last week. We've got Emma Pickerel, Emma Pickerel, Brian, Giordano, Kat, Aaron, Justin, Brendan, Jake, Ivy, Shady Hill Homestead, Marianne Cruz, and Zombicus, Lisa. Hello everybody, thank you so much for your financial support, and to the patrons, no new ones this week, but thank you to all the patrons on the screen for your financial support. And as I've mentioned many times, without your support the show wouldn't go on, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like I said, we're up to episode 358. That's amazing in my books anyway. Okay, what's been happening this week? Well, the channel's been going off like a frog in a sock. The meme must have been circulating again somewhere. Those who know. So that's doing the traps. I think it started on Instagram, it's gone to 9gag, and goodness knows what else. So I've got about 2,000 new subscribers, and thank you to those who have subscribed, and hope you're enjoying the show. You'll notice something new in the chat. I didn't turn it on. YouTube did it. It's a little bit of a leaderboard thing going on. Not quite sure how it works, but there's a little community button up the top of the chat where you can see who's first and who's first at the moment. Jeffrey's first. I think it's based on the amount of interaction you do in the chat, how many super chats you do, and all that sort of stuff. Those who are eagle-eyed have spotted I'm sporting a new watch, which is cool. It's upside down. It's a smartwatch. I got it on Amazon, of all places, for $79. You can pick up a smartwatch that functions for $79 these days. Not the full Apple Watch experience or what have you, but for me, perfect. Works great. I bought two, one for Ben as well. So that was my birthday present to myself, which happened to be last week. I don't even think I mentioned it on the stream last week. But anyway, and also big happy birthday to Patricia, whose birthday was on the same day. What else we got? Gallery is at 30 minutes past the hour. What videos are in production? Well, let's have a quick look at the Trello board, shall we? Because we can. So, I don't have any. I'm currently editing at the well, I am. Sorry, I'm doing the garden one. I did some filming yesterday, and that'll be out soon. So yeah, Kim and I were making a list of all the things that we put in our garden, mainly for to trying to find where the heck we bought them for and what they cost, because people always ask when you put a video up. So I've done that. And I'll put that in at the end of the video, but I didn't really care how much the cost to make the garden. It was a labour of love, and I wanted to get back into gardening because I was extremely frustrated that I couldn't do any veggie gardening, which is one of my passions besides cheese. So anyway, so that's what's going on there. The Hannah Instruments ones, I've just got to get Ben to put that together. Who's my editor and son, and we'll get going. As Lisa's just said, gardening is good for the soul. Indeed it is. many times. Well, in fact, yesterday I lost myself in the veggie patch. I planted some snow peas, checked on the progress of the sweet peas. I didn't think they'd come up. I thought birds had dug them up, but I dug down and there were a few that had just sprouted. But I planted some more anyway, because Kim loves sweet peas. They're one of her absolute favourite flowers. Yeah, and I planted the elephant garlic that Merv came to pick up an order the other day. He's in the chat somewhere. And he gave me an elephant garlic and a whole bunch of other garlic. I planted the normal Aussie garlic last week, and I planted the elephant garlic yesterday. So thanks, Merv, for all that garlic. And I hope you enjoyed the capsicums that I swapped with you. Okay. That is enough of the Trello board. Back to me. There we go. Alrighty. We got some questions rolling in around cheeses and that sort of stuff, which is what we're here for. I won't say g'day. I think I've said g'day to most people in the chat anyway, before we started. So welcome one and all, as always. But we'll get the show on the road, and there is where's the first one? Let's have a look. Patricia, I think. Will there be a new Gouda video? The linking keep calm and make more cheese doesn't work anymore. Yes, unfortunately it doesn't. I had some errors. Now that I've got a pH meter, Patricia, I will be able to make the Gouda again, make it better, and hit the right targets. And hopefully it won't late blow, but I'll do it until I get it perfect. I'll put that down as a reminder, and we'll get that going. And I think Eden was another one that I had to remove due to some faults in the cheese. So yes, that will be coming. So it's on my list. I'll put it in the Trello board and I'll bump it up to the front because the recipe's already there. I may even do some tweaks to the recipe, and those who want another one when I finish it, once I've released the video, instead of having to pay $5 for the recipe, I'll give it to them for free who have already purchased the book. They'll have to contact me because I don't know who's purchased it. You can get it from just about everywhere these days. Anyway, Fiona says, when using green peppercorns, how do you prepare them? The ones I bought are pickled. Okay, Fiona, good news is the ones in the can or a jar, if it's still sealed and you haven't opened it, they will be fine to use in your cheese. If it's like a half full jar, I wouldn't use them because they could be contaminated. And green peppercorns are absolutely beautiful in cheese. In fact, one of the first cheeses I ever made with additives was a farmhouse cheddar with peppercorns, or very similar to an Osu Arati cheese with peppercorns. Let me see if I can dig that recipe up. I'm sure it's there somewhere. Can we go to the second monitor and we'll look for peppercorns, because we can. Hey, there we go. This is the best one here. Oh, and even no, the saffron one was black peppercorns. So this one, can we share? Yeah, we can share. So this is the one that I normally use, breaking the fourth wall there. Okay, back to that. So yeah, so the farmhouse cheddar with peppercorns. I made the video. Look at the title. Goodness me, that's a long time ago. 13 years ago. And I stand by the process in this video. It's one of my most tastiest cheddar-y style cheeses. So let's have a look. Can we see? Did I put the recipe up? Oh, in a strange way. Yes, I did. So I put in. Oh, get rid of the captions. What did I put? I put a tablespoon of red or green peppercorns. There you go. And through the process, you'll see what I did. I might have. Did I boil them? Let's have a look. 45. No. What did I do? It doesn't say. Sorry, I'm just looking. Make sure. Let's just play it and be done with it. I think I made this with I think I made it with Microsoft Movie Maker or something. God, I used the crappiest milk too. Goodness me, that was a brand new kitchen. It's all happening there. The old pot on a pot. Goodness me, this takes me back. 13. It's amazing to see how far I've come when it comes down to it. But yeah, there we go. Anyway, so yeah, that was. Pardon me. That was the green peppercorn, farmhouse cheddar with green peppercorn. Very nice cheese. All right, so we do have some more questions. Or Luigi said I made Buddha last week. It looks good and I can't wait to taste it. That would be a lovely cheese. Buddha is so nice. Mario says, what is an easy way to understand cultures? I see Meso and Thermo, but I'm not familiar with names mentioned versus the ones I have. Is there a cheat sheet showing similarities between Sacco, Vienna, and etc., Danisco, and all the other ones? Yes, there is a cheat sheet. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find it. The cheat sheet. Where have I put it? There is a link somewhere. Just looking in the cultures. I've got it here somewhere. Let's just speak amongst yourselves. Oh, I'll find it in a second. Oh, goodness me, Gav, where is it? Oh, good. When you want it, you can't find. Oh, there it is. Let's copy the link and see if I can put that in the chat. 1 second. It's a great thing. There we go. So if you go and have a look at that, you will be amazed, Mario, there's a comparison thing and a whole bunch of cultures. So yeah, hopefully that'll help you out. And if worse comes to worse, all you need to do is understand the names, and you should. Any good cheese making supply store should list the bacteria names, the strains that are in that packet, so you can usually compare apples to apples between the different types of cultures. But always go with the strength of the stated by the manufacturer, how much to add to, say, 10 litres of milk or 2 gallons or what have you. Always go on there because they manufacture them for specific strengths. Paul has a good question, and he says, I was looking forward to trying my orange and walnut cheese. When I pulled it out, it had pink mould on the top and bottom. I'll probably get rid of it unless you think it is just a surface problem. Unless it's really into the... You should be able to wash it off. Hopefully you've tried, Paul, and wash it off with a simple brine solution. If it's just sitting on the surface of the cheese. If it's into the cheese, then I would probably worry about it because you've added in orange and liqueurs and walnuts and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, a bit of a problem because if that's deep into the rind, then it'd probably be a bit of a problem. So, yeah, I'll leave it to your good judgment. Brandon says, I wish YouTube would stop interrupting your live stream to show me ads. Yeah, do I have them turned on? Hang on. I can't turn it. Can I turn them off? Turn off monetization. There we go. It's a new... yeah, it's an... I think I turned it off. But yeah, look, I totally understand. Yeah, it says monetization's off. Right, there you go. It worked, I think. But yeah, what they're doing now with live stream is I think they're showing an ad side by side, so you can still see my ugly head, and they play an ad and put the music on for the ad and then mute me so you can't actually see what I'm saying. Let me know if that was the case there, Brendan, because I think they've just introduced that to live streaming this week. So they've done a fair bit of stuff. They've done the community leaderboard and the and the side-by-side ad thing going on. I think it's for more popular live streams where you have like thousands of people. So anyway, I don't like that side-by-side feature, so I just forgot to turn it off. So I'll do that. I'd rather have ads playing on the archive anyway, because more people watch it after the fact than they do live. So moving right along. G'day, Jose. It says, greetings from England. My Saturday night routine, making cheese and watching Gavin's stream. Oh, thank you so much, mate. It sounds like fun. Nicola says, I was wondering why the link wasn't working. Not sure what link. Was that the Gouda link? Yeah. Anyway, I'll fix that up. Brendan says, I was going to make you a low moisture mozzarella today, but I picked up a bit of a cold, and it's not a good idea to make cheese when you're unwell. Indeed. If I get sick, and I rarely do these days, then yeah, I just don't do it. Because if you're not feeling well, you're not going to concentrate. You're going to make mistakes. So look, I hear you, mate. Because if you don't feel well, I just postpone it until sometime during the week. Now I'm semi-retired, and we only ship from Little Green Workshops on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Tuesday and Thursday are either filming day or editing day, and filming day means cheese making. So it's either or. So yeah, it works out for me, and I'll just wait. If I've got milk in the fridge, it'll last. But yeah, no, fresh is best. But you know, what can you do when you're not feeling well? Shauna says, how do you sanitize dried chives and dried onion flakes to make another I'm gonna make another Cotswold, and my last one was contaminated. Okay, I think what I did last time was just put them on an oven tray. So you know those silicon, you can buy those silicon liners for a baking tray. You know, that you make like cookies and biscuits and stuff like that on it. Good old Aussie Anzac biscuits. Yeah, so I just sprinkle them onto the top of the tray and turn the oven to 120 degrees Celsius, which is what in Fahrenheit? Let's have a look. Alexa, convert 120 Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Good morning, Gavin. 120 degrees Celsius is 248 degrees Fahrenheit.
So 248 or 250 Fahrenheit, and do that for 15 minutes. They won't brown or anything. It'll just kill off any bacteria or yeasts that may be lurking on them and stop most of the contamination there, Shauna. So that's all I do. So silicon liner on a baking tray, and then, yeah, easy enough. Make sure everything's clean, of course, but it will be once you put it in the oven anyway. So that's the best way to do it. Because with dried chives and onions, if you don't add them in dry and you've like boiled them in water for a little bit, you're going to lose some of the flavour. I find all the flavour is better when it's dry and you added it to the when you mix it into the curds and you mill it with the salt. It's a beautiful aroma, as you well know. So there you go. Harriet says that farmhouse cheddar with peppercorns is one of my favourites. They are boiled. Okay, cool. So that's fine. Harriet, for your peppercorns. Fiona says, thanks, Gavin. I'll check out the video before I start. Okay, cool. Jill says, I made this recipe of yours with Tasmanian pepper berries. Fantastic and very aromatic. Indeed. In fact, I think I made a version of that with Tasmanian pepper berries as well, Jill. Can I dig up the recipe? Let's have a quick look. Gav, come on, you can do it. Whoop. Tasmanian. Can I spell that? I didn't even know. Oh, come on, Gav. Tasmanian. There we go. Did I make one? Yeah, I called it the Tassie Devil Cheese. Oh, so original. Let's have a look. Can we look at the cheese? Hang on, I'll put it in the chat first. It's getting all excited. There we go. What a good looking rooster. Taz, did I show the peppercorns? Let's have a look. There he is. Oh, no, that's a Tassie Devil, not the peppercorns. Oh, goodness me. But yeah, I did use some peppercorns somewhere. Where the heck? I showed them somewhere. Where did I show them? Anyway, yeah, there they are, down there on the screen. Nice peppercorns. Yeah, it was a great cheese and absolutely delicious. So you got the link there. I think I popped in it. Yes, I did. So that's all good. But yeah, there is a Tasmanian pepperberry version going on a lot. But yeah, so that's really good. I was reading an article the other day that apparently Tasmanian pepperberries are the new gold standard down there in Tasmania because the world can't get enough of them apparently. So yeah, it's unusual. I was reading that somewhere. I can't remember where, but yeah, cool. Okay. Let's have a look. Paul says I may cut off the top and bottom and see what it looks like. Okay, for your cheese, yeah. Yeah, that'll work because you know the mould can grow at least 1 centimetre into the rind, depending on how long it was there for. But if it was only the walnut and the orange and walnut, what did I do? That 3 weeks max? Yeah, for sure. Brendan says no, it switched you off totally and showed me 30 seconds worth of ads. Oh, it's no good at all. Yes, and as Merv rightly said, get well, Brendan. Hope you feel better, mate. Some people have said they're not seeing ads. If you're a YouTube Premium member, there's no ads. It's just I get a little bit of the money from YouTube Premium. I don't know how they distribute it. They just do. Yeah, what else we got? We got Dale says, good morning. Ooh. Oh, we got a super chat. It's the first one in a long time. Thank you, Michelle. I will get to that in a second. The light should go off by itself in a minute. We'll get to Dale's question, though. Good morning, my baby Swiss this week. Making Stilton with apricots on Tuesday. Tore a tendon in my knee. Oh, but keep calm and make cheese. Indeed. Rest up, mate. That's no good at all, Dale. I hope your cheeses are tucked away into the cheese fridge and you're getting somebody to turn them for you, but that must be painful. And there goes the light. I love the light. It's so cool. One of the best things I've implemented, I think. Yeah, get well, Dale. I hope you feel better, mate. Michelle says, what does Lactobacillus lactis subspecies helveticus and Lactobacillus subspecies delbrueckii suspect? No? And Bulgaricus add to cheese? Okay, so I do have a chart. I got to remember. Let me find it. I even think it was in the artisan cheese list. It tells you what it does. Where the heck is it? Where did I put my link? Gavlar. There it is. Let's have a look at the chart. Hopefully it's going to... why don't you... Right, secure. Hang on, I'm just setting it up for you, Michelle. Alright, let's have a look. Can we look at this? Here we go. Hopefully that's big enough for the screen you're looking at. Let's have a look. Let's look at a thermophilic with all those goodies in. LH. Is there an LH by itself? No, there's an LH, LD. The one I use, MOT92, I don't even think it's listed. But let's have a look. So LH, Okay, so LH provides more proteolysis, which is breakdowns of the protein, and so does LB. LB actually adds the Lactobacillus bulgaricus adds more acid. It's a fast acid developing strain. And what's the last one? Delbrueckii. That's what that does. It provides more diacetyl action, so it makes the cheese a little bit more creamier, has a buttery texture. So that hopefully that's answered your question, and that's what all three of those do. Okay. So hang on, what's going on here? There we go. All right, Matt has a suggestion. I think is another great way to sanitize fresh herbs and spices is to vacuum pack them and use the sous vide. The herbs stay wonderfully green. That is a fantastic idea, Matt. I'm yet to try that, and I do have a sous vide. So you'd have to crank it up to like 100 degrees, wouldn't you, to like boil them? But it's in there. The herbs and spices are in the packet that you vacuum packed, and then you put them into water that the sous vide's boiling, type thing. But yeah, fantastic. What temperature, Matt? That would be lovely if you let us know. That you would set on your precision cooker. Dominic has a question. Says, I've always had a few jars of fermented chili peppers going. Can I incorporate these into a cheese recipe? Are they better eaten with the cheese than in the cheese? Yes, they're better if you eat them after you've made the cheese. You can put them in. Just got to remember what book it was. Sorry, there's in Lisa's book she talks about chili. 1 second. And I'll just find it on page, whatever page it is. Adding stuff to cheeses. She's got a whole table here. She's got a little recommendation specifically around chilies. If you pickled them. She's got so many tables in this book. Does she have an index? She's got a bibliography. No index. Goodness me. There we go. This is it. There's a double milling method. Right, so for chili peppers, what's she do? Okay, right, so if they've been fermented, they should have been... the only way you're going to get rid of any bacteria that's in them, because the fermenting creates bacteria, as we know. Her recommendations is that they've been canned, but then they've been sterilised. So blanch the peppers at 150 Fahrenheit. What's that? 66 to 82 Celsius for 3 minutes. Pack in sterilised jars, covered in hot water. A hot brine consisting of citric acid and salt. Close the jars with lids. Pasteurise in a water bath for 10 minutes. Cool down the jars under cold water. Allow the jars of peppers to rest for 24 hours. Drain very well and finally chop before adding to the cheese. So that's it's actually from Marianne Ferrer. Yeah, that's in, but it's in Lisa's book, Confident Cheesemaker. If you want to know anything about adding stuff to cheeses, like herbs and all that sort of stuff, this is absolutely fantastic. It's a great book. Highly recommend Lisa's book. So many references. She sought out so much information. So a really good book. And even heaps of information about pH of cheese as well, if you want to check out that. So that was, sorry with that once again, Lisa Peterson, Confident Cheese Making. Let me see if I can't get a link to that in the good old Amazons. The gallery time, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll go to that one, and I want to go Confident Cheese Making by Lisa Peterson. Is it listed at all? I thought it was on Amazon. It's where I bought it. One result. No results. It's not even there. Why not? Sorry. Can we find it? Oh, goodness me. Let's get rid of that. Oh, come on, computer. Play the bloody game. Alright. Looking... No, it's not on Amazon anymore. Why not? I don't know. Or I just can't find it. Let's, no. Page 2, no. Page 3. You'll think it'd be near the top, so I put a name in there. Let's just try. Sorry, let's just try a name. Lisa. P. How do you spell a name? Where the heck is it? Peterson. Nope. She must have got rid of it off Amazon, so don't know what's going on there. Goodness me. Sorry about that. And it looks like Paul has dropped a whole bunch of memberships. Thank you, Paul. Really appreciate it. As always. Saying thank you, and thanks to everybody who picked one. Who picked one up? Gillian, Carol, Carlo, Derek, and Brandon has picked up a membership. So thank you, mate. Appreciate it. And while we're in the giving mood, just before the oh, no, I can't do it. I've used all the ones up already. Okay. Let's. Sorry, Matt has a comment around. Where is it? Something about Helveticus. There's something about it was sweet. Oh, God, if I could just find. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so Helveticus sweetness as well. Very nice. Thanks, mate, for popping that in there. Okay, so there's a whole bunch more questions. We'll get to those in a second. Let's have a look at the the gallery. So if I can find that, there we go, and I'll put that up there. And rightio. So today's gallery is brought to you by the Curd Nerds. You've sent in photos. I love the photos. So let's go into it. So the first one is from Jeff or Jeffrey. Let me just make that a bit bigger so I can read it. Here we go. It says, hello Gavin, I hope you and your wife are well. I'm writing to share some photographs from my cheese making process. Photos 1 through 3 showcase the Monterey Jack cheese. As you may recall, I had initially emailed you about this cheese as it did not ripen for 40 minutes before I added the rennet. Proceeded with the cheese making processes and opened it on the 26th. The result was an amazing flavour, an amazing cheese. It tasted similar to cheddar but with a much more pronounced flavour. Okay, so there's the cheese there. Very nice indeed, Jeffrey. It doesn't look too crumbly. I know Monterey Jack can be a little bit crumbly, but it looks pretty good. Grated well, that's for sure. So there it is. He's grated and he's using it for some little biscuits. So it says photo 4 and 5 is what I made with the grated Monterey Jack. They are my keto breakfast biscuits as I'm trying to lose weight to help my back problem. Indeed. I'm doing the same thing, hence the watch. It's going to help me. Helps me track my steps and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so, and there they are, the cooked little keto breakfast biscuits. I think it's got some sausage meat in it too. Jeffrey sent me the recipe. I'm going to try and make some myself. So they look lovely. So, what to do with cheese? Very nice indeed. Photo 6, this is photo 6, is the farmhouse blue cheese I made from your book, Keep Calm and Make More Cheese. I did not add the Penicillium Roque 40 mould to this cheese, as I simply wanted a traditional cheddar. Unfortunately, no one in my household enjoys blue, so I'm eager to see how it turns out. Yes, so what will happen, basically you made yourself a farmhouse cheddar, Jeffrey, because that's all I did to modify it was add in the Penicillium Roque 40 at the start and then pierce it later on to get the blue into the cheese. As a farmhouse cheddar, this is a sound recipe. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. You'll have a good result. Once it's touch dry, you can either wax it or vacuum pack it for maturation, so it should be good. Okay, the next, is that Jeffrey's last photo? Let's have a look. Yep. So the next one is from Paul, and Paul has a bit of a story here somewhere. Where the heck is it? Right, there we go. Hi Gavin, please find attached my yesterday's cheese for the gallery. Okay, so there's Paul's yesterday's cheese, and he's cut it open there. Does he say how it tasted? I mentioned in my last gallery submission that my new plan was just to buy milk and force the cheese making. Force the cheese making, since cheese time is limited these days. That sounded great at the time, but execution was not entirely great. Getting 10 litres of milk was easy, but after 3 days I felt the pressure to get the cheese project done, despite having 170 hours of apple tree thinning still remaining. So what to make? I wanted to try both yesterday's and St. Ivel. There was more than enough milk to do both, and without cheddaring and ripening, I thought I could get it all done in one day. The yesterday's cheese was fairly easy, and my photos are attached. With the yesterday's in the brine, the Titanic cheese was next. Making the first cheese of the day was smooth sailing, and St. Ivel's maiden voyage was launched later that day. My 3-hour cheese tour was going fine so far with no waves. Getting to the point of the 12-hour rest was my goal. There was plenty of time to plan for the rest of the trip, but I felt like I left my luggage at home. Something was wrong. I started reviewing my itinerary, and in my rush to get to my final destination, I had neglected to sanitize something to drain the excess whey at the end and scoop all the curds into the basket. Okay, my Star San was to be my lifeboat. Before I go any further, I think this is in reference to the Titanic. I did the video that that St. Ivel cheese was served on the first class passenger menu on the luncheon of the last day of the Titanic. Anyway, moving right along. The baskets were not ideal, and they had worked well with another similar cheese. No, you're just worrying over nothing. Time to turn in for the night. Keep the cooker on all night wasn't the best plan, because I maybe would risk a engine fire. Going to bed at 11:40, which was strangely the same time the RMS Titanic ran into trouble. Just a coincidence, right? All seemed fine at 1:30 for my first check, and then at 5 a.m. I was up and decided to check the cheese again. On the alleyway getting close to the galley, I heard the cooker klaxon sounding. My St. Ivel had indeed hit an iceberg, and I never even felt it. The cooker had shut off because the water level had got too low. With the cheese connected to the Titanic, water would eventually be a problem. Over several hours, the sink hull must have had a small leak. I added water and reset the cooker. My cheese had cooled to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, nothing else but to test the pH. But wait, the meter had not been calibrated. I thought about calling for help, but as my wife was fast asleep and communication was going to be successful as calling the SS Californian. So I was able to get the pH meter calibrated, and surprisingly it was at 4.5. Maybe I had avoided disaster. I started scooping the curds out of the basket, but the scoops were like Greek yogurt. How on earth would they ever firm up? They had as much chance to dry as jumping in the ocean. but I continued trying. After more than 24 hours of draining, there was little sign of rescue. Indeed, my St. Ivel had sunk and now swims with the fishes. I thought I would continue with the Titanic team given my theme, given my cheesy outcome. I am not really sure what happened, but the fact that the heat shut off and could not have been ideal. If I were to do it again, I would get better baskets, also use a smaller pot. My usual pot is too big for 6 litres. I would also plan to do that 12-hour cook during the day. Am I determined to get this right as soon as my Gruyere... Sorry, I am determined to get this right as soon as my Gruyere is successful. The lesson is, don't give up. When we make mistakes, we learn. I have a good idea how I would do this again. Thanks for all you do, and happy birthday. Thank you, Paul. That's a great story. I love the analogy. Moving right along to the next entry. Michelle sent through a... well, besides the super chat, but Michelle sent through the this cheese here. So this is, hi Gavin, I hope you and your family are well. I cut the Alpine Mead wash cheese that I made with your recipe today. I started the process of making it on January the 13th, and it was a process for sure. I washed it with bee linens and mead, but didn't get any red colour after a month. I decided to wash it with bee linens and water. Still didn't want to turn red, but it did have some stickiness to it, so I continue washing with mead and turning it weekly. I vacuum packed it on May 5th. I've never had a bee linens cheese before, so I didn't know exactly what it was supposed to taste like. My cheese had a hint of blue cheese flavour and my homemade mead flavour. I really love this, and I don't know if the rest of my family will enjoy the complex flavour of this mead-washed Alpine cheese, but I ate several pieces before I thought I'd better stop. Lol, that was me. Right, there's the cheese there. That's very nice, Michelle. Thank you for the video that sparked my interest in making a homemade mead and then making a cheese with it, because this cheese is really fantastic. Sincerely, Michelle Harvey. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah, I found the same thing. I think the alcohol in the mead kills off the bee linens, so you don't really get too much of a red on the outside. It is very tasty, though. The cheese itself, it gets a little bit of that character of the mead. It gets a little bit of flavour from the bee linens, but all in all, you're not going to get an oozy cheese like, say, a Port Salut or anything similar. Munster is another one that is really soft and gooey on the inside. This one, because we're using a thermophilic culture, it's very stable. The paste is very... well, it doesn't go gooey because of the bee linens. And yeah, you just get flavour from the meat, and it's lovely. It's a great looking cheese. Congratulations, Michelle. Okay, the next one is from Persnickety. Sent these through to me. Says, howdy Gav, I had a client request for Edam or Gouda from 2% milk, so I gave it a try. I've had an issue with 2% milk before, with it sticking to the cheesecloth and creating a huge mess. So this time I followed your early advice on the topic and pressed it underway. This time there was no sticking at all to the cloth. I wanted to try this method again before resorting to Plyban, which is that plastic blue cheesecloth you get. It's disposable. Hang on, let's have a look. Hey, look at that. I use milk jugs with weighted water, so half the cheese weighed for 30 minutes, cheese weight for half an hour, and then went into the Dutch press for double the cheese weight for 2 hours before the final overnight pressing at 50 pounds or 22 kilos. The first picture is how it began, and the second is how it ended. In the Artisan Cheese Making Book at home, page 91, the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of liquid annatto for 2 gallons of milk for Edam bowl, which is the bowl-shaped version. I thought that was a bit excessive and also interesting, so I added 1 teaspoon to each 5-gallon pot. If I make this again, I'll stay true to the recipe and make it a brilliant hue as a homage to Edam cheese making history and Prince William of Orange. Ending weight after 18 hours in the brine was 6 pounds 12 ounces, or around 3 kilograms. This 9 gallons of 2% milk, 34 litres. It should be ready to taste in 2 months. By the way, no pun intended, there was almost 4 gallons of pure whey, then about 8 gallons more of diluted, as Edam is a wash curd cheese. Another client was happy to receive all of it and gifted me a dozen eggs. Quite good, quite the good exchange, as I'll give it all as I normally give the whey away for free. Much love to Kim and the doggos. Glad to see you up and a bit more. Thank you again for many excellent videos, Curd Nerdly Persnickety. Thank you, Persnickety. Really appreciate that. And yeah, a great haul. Eggs are not cheap in the US, apparently. In fact, we've got issues here in Victoria as well. Lots of egg farms are, lots of chickens are getting bird flu. So I think that's the same issue in the US. But yeah, we have really strict protocols, and the farms get locked down, and unfortunately chickens get killed, unfortunately, because there's no cure for bird flu. Alrighty, unfortunate. Moving right along, is there any more? No, that's it. That is the gallery. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching it. If you want to know how to, where the heck is it? Gav, find your page. If you want to know how to send in the photos to the gallery, all you have to do is go to the YouTube channel, and we go to, it doesn't really matter what page we're on, but anyway, this bit here where it says, do you want to become a curd nerd? You click on this where it says more, and down here you put in, you click this bit here, it says view email address. So this is where you can find the email address to send me through your photos of cheese you've made, any cheeses you got questions about, and I will answer your questions and show them during the gallery section. So that's where you do it. Once again, where it says more, or this bit here where it says more links, go down to more info, and there's the email address. Anyway, so that's how you do it. Okay, very cool indeed. Thank you to everybody who sent in photos. They are amazing as always. Alrighty, now we do have some more questions that I have missed. Back into it. We've got 10 minutes to go. Jill says, Gavin, your Cotswold recipe says to press for 24 hours. What's the reason for the extra long pressing time? Some recipes only have CB press for 12 hours. Okay, so the extra long pressing time in my recipe was because the first time I did it only for 12 hours. I noticed that it hadn't knitted together properly. Could have been a temperature issue on my part, but then I thought, well, no, I need a rind closed because this cheese has got additives, and close as I could anyway. So I pressed it for an extra 12 hours. And that's the reason why, if your cheese is not fully, if you don't get a proper rind on the cheese, it's more prone to contamination, especially with Cotswold, because you've got additives in it, and you need to have a decent sort of rind. Even if there's bits sticking through, you're going to wax or vacuum pack it anyway. But I wanted to make sure that the rind was intact. That's why, Jill. If you find that after 12 hours yours has a decent rind, then yeah, only press it for 12 hours. Anyway, Paul just said, I just checked the orange and walnut. I cut a small slice off the top and bottom, and it looks perfect inside. Trying it now, thanks. Hopefully, Paul, you're still alive. Let's see, has he put another comment in? Let's have a look. Has he put another comment? Hey, he did. There we go. He's alive. The drummer says his wife thought yesterday's was the best cheese so far. The drummer says his wife. Okay, now I understand. Right. Good cheese then. Right, next question is... Brendan has a joke more than a hey Gavin, why did the cheese fail its driving test? Because it couldn't find its way. Get it? Nice. Funny one. Thanks, Brendan. Rightio. Matt says, I just go to 50 to 60 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes with no issue when sanitising fresh mint leaves for halloumi. Okay, right. So that was when you're talking about sanitising the herbs and spices in the sous vide. Right, to sous vide them, the process. Thank you, mate. Patricia says, I managed to find Confident Cheese Making on Amazon. I'll have to have another look. I know. My searching facility's obviously not very good. Thank you, Patricia. I'll have another look later. I won't muck around on stream. Merv says, just wondering, when making yogurt, we pasteurise the milk from the shop when making cheese, but when making cheese, we don't. Be making a lot of Greek yogurt. I think what you're talking about there, Merv, is when you, to denature the proteins to make the yogurt thicker, a lot of yogurt recipes bring the temperature up to about 92 degrees Celsius, even if it's already been pasteurised. And what this does, it breaks down the proteins in the milk before you even start. So when you add in the yogurt cultures, they still do their thing with the lactose, but it produces a thicker yogurt and not a sloppy one. That's the reason. And we don't do that to cheese because we want those proteins intact to form a proper curd when we add rennet. We don't add rennet to yogurt. There we go. Little Hill says, would you try the Tassie pepper berries again or two different? No, I thought they were lovely. They had a unique flavour to them. I've had pepperberry cheese since. In fact, I think I've still got some pepperberry cheese in the fridge that's vacuum packed. It's probably nearly 2 years old now, but yeah, so yeah, it is a great cheese. I think because it is so different, that's why it's so lovely and unique. Kind of reminds me of Szechuan pepper. Very similar, gives your tongue a little bit of a numbing thing. But yeah, I think the Tasmanian pepperberries are a lot more robust in their flavour. They're very good. James Hartley says, hello from Yorkshire in England. How goes the cheese lot? It's going lovely, mate. It's lovely. Cool Cat and David just turned up. Brief hello from the UK. Thank you, David. Let's have a look. There is another question. Here it is. Just One Asbestos says, how exact does pressing weight need to be? What happens if you're off in one direction or the other? Okay, so when pressing cheese, the first pressing, the key is when you're pressing it, we're trying to basically get the cheese stable enough that we can actually turn the cheese. When you press it, we don't want any of the fats oozing out with the whey. We want to keep the fats in the cheese because that adds the flavour. So you press it just lightly enough so that the cheese doesn't seep out cloudy whey. It's difficult to do, but you can do it. So you will see my initial pressings on most cheeses are very light. 10 pounds pressure, 5 kilograms roughly. That's about it. And then I increase the pressure as we go, as the cheese forms its rind and starts to lock in some of that moisture. So how accurate? Accurate enough that you're not bleeding out all of the fat into the sink. So that's where I'll leave it there. But yeah, follow the recommendations. They're usually pretty good in most recipes, including mine. Okay. If you have a second with your existing question, this is from David S. Says, I'm interested in cheese that will travel well camping, ones that don't require refrigeration. I'm training to do some bike packing. Okay, so good question. What the Romans used to do, I'll go back in history, they used to have a cheese that was very similar to Pecorino Romano, hence the name Romano. So they used to carry this cheese around wrapped in a cloth, and this cheese was a very hard cheese, and they would break bits off and put it into their stews and soups and that sort of thing. That kind of cheese travels very well. The drier the cheese, the best it travels at that sort of temperatures during the day. Depends on how hot it's going to be too. If it's like 35 degrees Celsius when you're bike packing around wherever you're going, then yeah, the cheese is going to sweat fat. And the Roman cheeses probably did too, because, you know, the Mediterranean's not a cold, freezing cold place in summer, that's for sure. So, yeah, there you go. So that's what I would recommend. A very dry cheese, okay, so David says, my trip is aiming north towards the top of the Trans-Canada Trail. Okay, so yeah. Well, definitely, yeah, so go hard Italian cheeses. Perfect. Cheese that can't be mentioned, Grana Padano. Oh, I mentioned it. Pecorino Romano, any sort of Romano-style cheese, hard Italian cheese, even, of course, Parmigiano Reggiano. And all these cheeses are fantastic because you can break off bits, put it in your stew if you're camping or whatever, you know, if you're rehydrating some of those funny packets. And, yeah, do that. Love Parm. All right, perfect. Thank you. So that should be good for you, David. Okay, apparently there's no likes going on. Now, let me just have a look. Let's have a look at the like machine. Where did I put it? I'm just looking at the YouTube dashboard. It says that there are 23 likes on my one. Let me just update that. 24 now. Oh, it's all happening. Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, Patricia, for bringing that up. Sometimes you got to refresh your screen, but then you lose this beautiful face. Alrighty, what time is it? We've got 2 minutes to go. Do we have any more questions? Let's have a look. No, I think. What's this? YouTube fudges what the number of likes and comments for complicated technical reasons. I don't know about that. Anyway, it's the end of the show. Thank you so much, Curd Nerds, for watching today. There's been, I don't know, there's about 37 watching at the moment. But anyway, thanks everybody. Let's pay the bills as we always do. If you want to make cheese and you want to get your supplies from our little shop, Little Green Workshops, you can pop over. The URL is littlegreenworkshops.com.au and go and check out all the cheese making supplies. We have lots of stuff from lots of different brands. I notice a lot of cheese making suppliers stock their own brand. I just buy them from a bunch of wholesalers myself. I don't have the facilities to make up starter cultures and all that sort of stuff. I don't have food safe rooms and stuff, so I buy them in at wholesale and sell them at retail. So littlegreenworkshops.com.au. And if you want to get any merch, woohoo! I don't even know if I show me Curd. My favourite mug at the moment, Talk Curdy to me with me favourite goat on it. And of course, yours truly, Certified Curd Nerd. You pick that up at, where the hell, the URL, where did it go? Merch.cheeseman.tv. There you go. That's where you get it from. Alrighty. So, thanks for watching, Curd Nerds. And I will see you next week. It's Kim's birthday this week. Yeah, I just remembered. A couple of days' time. Anyway, I will see you next weekend. Thanks for watching, Curd Nerds. Have a fantastic cheesy week. All right, see you later. Bye.